Cricket is a team sport. Talented individuals can only go so far unless they have the right team environment to succeed in. Team spirit is a quality as rare as platinum. And fostering that culture across various teams that he led for so many years with success was the hallmark of the great MS Dhoni, a true man of platinum.
The MS Dhoni Signature Edition. Jewelry crafted in rare platinum for men of platinum.
Hello and welcome to the Dhoni Legacy presented by Men of Platinum. It is through this series that we have discussed with great insight and satisfaction values that are at the very core of MS Dhoni's storied career. Today, in our final episode, we discuss team spirit. Man's built champion teams over his time, both at the international and franchise level. And Tom Moody and Abhinav Mukund, two people that have closely watched, followed, at times even interacted with MS Dhoni over the years with me. Gentlemen, welcome. As I talk about team spirit, I think there is a connection with leadership there. It's so important for Dhoni, the captain, to ensure that the dressing room stays good, stays positive. What first comes to mind when I ask you about Dhoni's ability to keep the team spirit good at both international and club level? Tom?
Well, the first thing that stands out for me is the way he empowers everyone from the most senior player to the most junior player. I don't think there has been a captain in the IPL over its history that has managed to get the best out of uncapped bowlers as MS Dhoni. So therefore, the way that he lifts them with that, that spirit that I back you, I trust you, and he does it in a very modest and silent way. And I think that as well allows the younger player or the inexperienced player to really rocket and thrive under that leadership.
Now, you've, of course, been in dugouts where you've faced up against a Dhoni team. Abhinav Mukund has been in the dugout with MS Dhoni there. He made his international debut under MS Dhoni as well. Why don't you extend on Tom's point of his management of young players, uncapped players, which you were at one point yourself?
Look, he's got a lot of time for these players. It's very important for your senior leadership, no matter how much they're preparing, how much they're doing, to actually put your arm over a young player and have a conversation, because it is a high-pressure sport. It's a high-pressure environment. And I think that's the one thing you find in common with every single player around the league, where he would have had a conversation with MS Dhoni. And it would come from him where, even if it's late at night, 11:30, 12 after the game's done, you'd find like players sitting around and having this chat with him. It's so important because there will be certain things that come out from that conversation that help you. I was struggling in one-day cricket at one point, and I was never able to make the switch to whether I should go hard in the first 10, play 30 overs. I was always struggling with either getting out at 30 or 40 or ending up playing many balls than I was supposed to at the top of the order. So he said, why are you looking to maximize the power play when the first 10 overs? Look for this number, just keep this number in mind. Try and bat around 80 to 90 strike rate. See if you can manage that. Try to see if you can keep it in that region, because you've got guys, the most important thing is your wicket at that point as an opener. If you're able to manage that, you can automatically increase your gear at one point. And I thought that advice really helped me, because I was still trying to find a gear and trying to see what I was able to do. I'm not saying he said anything technically or anything, but that small piece of advice I took for life and tried to see if I could maximize that.
All right, brilliant. That's one aspect of MS Dhoni, to groom and to be able to guide young players. Then there's the other challenge, which we think is a far bigger challenge. Tom, you understand what Indian superstar and senior players are all about. And then when you get a captain who's younger than them, who came in after, we've had a history of dressing rooms with big superstars not being managed effectively. The Greg Chappell era preceded MS Dhoni's time. He was very much part of that dressing room too. What are your best impressions of how Dhoni handled senior players and kept a dressing room, kept the team spirit intact, knowing everything you know about Indian cricket?
Yeah, I just think that, one, he comes across, and again, I haven't been in a dressing room that MS Dhoni's being captain or a player in, but having conversations with the likes of Stephen Fleming and others, he connects with everyone at the same level. So the communication, your story is all based around communication.
Yes.
And it's positive reinforcement. It's not you need to be doing this. It was an idea that you grabbed hold of. So I think that communication is really important, particularly with your senior players, as much as it is for the juniors, to enable them that they're part of the journey. It's not about MS Dhoni, and it's not about any captain for that matter in any team. It's about making sure you empower everyone in that dressing room so you're part of the story that's going to be played out, you know, during that day's play. And MS Dhoni is a master at doing that. And he does it in such a subtle way because he's happy to sit in the back seat. Yeah. He's not sitting at the front seat. You see a lot of captains wanting to be the conductor out the front, you know, with all the different actions, you know, body language that at times, particularly for younger players, can intimidate them.
Yeah.
He's in the back seat, just quietly allowing it to play out. And if it's a senior player that's playing their role or a junior player is being empowered to take the game on, it'll more than likely go in their favour.
I want you to talk a bit more about that. When we talk team spirit, a value as rare as platinum, we talk about MS Dhoni, a man as rare as platinum. Geez, these are stories that we're hearing and insights as rare as platinum. But Abhinav Mukund can tell us a bit more about how that backseat personality of MS Dhoni was refreshing, was in many ways perhaps not something we were used to as Indian cricket watchers at the time India was having success. Never saw him at the forefront of a major celebration. Even with the World Cup parade, sort of almost walking nonchalantly in the back, spotlight was on Tendulkar. Are these attributes also a big part of having a team that is always, you know, looking at its leader and the team spirit is always well maintained?
And that's true to his character. Just because he was captain or leader, he didn't want to be in the forefront and change his own personality. You ask any CSK player this and they won't deny it.
Yeah.
His room door is always open other than the times that he's not sleeping. His door was, and there would be about 8, 10, 12 people inside that room. There would be tea, there would be some snacks, people would be watching the game. And it's not like we went there to see MS Dhoni. We went there to actually hang around and just be in that environment. So we'd talk about the game and he'd be watching the game. So every single non-playing day, I'm sure it's still the same thing. And the team rooms concept just come out.
That's a really interesting point you make, because you can actually see that play out on the field, you know, that open door policy, because it's nearly like you see these young players. I made the point about young players seem to thrive under him, but they thrive under him because they feel they're connected with him. He's not sort of beyond their reach. He is a legend. He's one of, you know, India's greats. And he's made himself very human to them instead of being intimidated by them. And that's a very clever art, and not the easiest art to do, is to be able to give yourself like that nearly 24/7 to enable others to thrive.
I mean, there are some stories that come through over the years of telling the players to remain calm after what was a big win in the CB series, but because he wanted bigger things, he wanted greater things, keeping celebrations in check. CSK, we've seen, always greater than the sum of their parts, and no matter what the squad looks like on paper. He's had a tough season in this particular year and previously, but you always see him trying to wheel the best out of those players. And I'm just trying to think of how big a role or influence he has had on a winning culture. When you say team spirit, I think you can attach it to winning culture, and how much Dhoni has perhaps influenced it.
Let me actually jump in here. I think the Aussie teams of the 2000s, 90s to 2000s, let's say from 96, they were incredible. People were like scared of them.
Yeah.
There's no possibility that anyone would be in the right mind and say, oh yeah, we're going to go beat Australia. So it was you knew it was prevalent in Indian teams where, oh God, we're facing Australia in the final. So that whole non-celebration thing was a huge moment, because at that point, India won that CB series, and I remember watching it live and we were all jumping, and they're like, calm, there's no celebration, nothing. And in the end, it turned out to be something where he's like, oh, don't let them feel like we've actually, it actually is a lesson in body language. Sometimes you feel bad when you get out, and when somebody isn't even celebrating and just moving along, you're like, oh, maybe I was an easy wicket. Someone's jumping around, you're like, oh, okay. he's taken this wicket of mine, he's quite happy about it. Maybe you're doing something right. That's exactly it, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting philosophy, really, because I think great leaders and great teams never reach the summit. I think they're always striving to reach the summit, and along the journey, they will pick up rewards, and whether that be a World Cup or whether that be a Champions Trophy or whatever it might be, an IPL, that's just part of the journey. But in their mind, they never feel like they've reached the summit. And that Australian team you're referring to over that period of time, they were dominant because, yes, they had some great talent in that side, but there was never satisfaction. There was never the feeling that we've done it. So it's nearly like, oh, there's no more. There's no more to climb. So there was always that sort of push for, for improvement as a group and individually.
All right, gentlemen, that was truly brilliant. I can also add to that and tell you, when we were looking for team pictures of success campaigns, World Cups, IPLs, it's very hard to find a team photograph which has Dhoni in it. You'll have to really try and extend it, and then you find the odd picture there, which I guess sums up what you've been saying. Thank you so much to Abhinav Mukund, former teammate of MS Dhoni, Tom Moody, successful coach that he is as well. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. There you have it, stories that are as rare as platinum, team spirit, and a culture that MS Dhoni fostered over the years, also as rare as platinum. He truly is a man as rare as platinum. This concludes this episode and edition of the Dhoni Legacy, presented by Men of Platinum.
The MS Dhoni Signature Edition. Jewelry crafted in rare platinum for men of platinum.